What's up? Tony from LearnAutoBodyAndPaint.com. In this short video, we're going to talk about how much paint do you need to paint your car, okay? How much material, how much paint do you need? This is a very, very common question in the industry. Some guys just don't have any idea of how much paint they're going to need to cover their project. So there are basically a couple questions you need to ask yourself when asking this question. Number one, what is the size of your vehicle? All right, how big is your car? Are you painting a small Mazda Miata or a little Mini? Or are you painting a big quad cab van, a truck or a van, okay? The second question you want to ask yourself is, what kind of paint do you want to paint your car with? All right, so you have a single stage enamel style, or you can use a base coat, clear coat style, which is a little bit more expensive, but we're not talking about price here, we're talking about volume of materials. All right, so let's say we're going to be painting just for visualization, just imagine a Mazda Miata. I'm sure a lot of you know what a Mazda Miata looks like. There's no top on it. Well, you can have the hard top on it, but very small car. If we're going to be doing that with an enamel paint job, we're probably only going to need about 2 quarts of enamel to paint that thing. It's very small. Plus, when you mix it with your reducer and hardener, right, it's going to probably give you about maybe close to 3 quarts of material, maybe a little less depending on the mixture. So that's all you're going to need for painting a little Mazda Miata. But if you wanted to do an enamel paint job for a medium-sized to a full-size car, a 1-gallon kit will totally be enough. All right, so when you go shopping at your paint shop or you go online, they're going to sell you a kit, usually 1 gallon of your paint, a little quart or a pint of reducer, depending on the mixtures. All different brands have different mixing ratios and stuff like that. All right, so you're basically going to need 1 gallon for an average size car. Average size or small. 1 gallon kit. Okay, basically a 1 gallon kit. Now, if we're doing a base coat, clear coat paint job, you're not only going to have to buy your base coat, but you have to buy clear coat. And usually for an all-around medium to average size car, I usually just go ahead and buy the 1 gallon clear kit, because if you have extra that's left over, you can always use it for a touch-up or another smaller project, a painting a motorcycle or a gas tank, whatever you're doing. It's better to have more than not enough, especially when you're in the booth. Okay, and the base coat is what you really have to kind of think about, because you're probably always going to get the gallon clear unless you're doing a small project, and you probably get the quart size of clear. Okay, but the base coat, if you're doing an average size car, I would say, and if you're painting it the same color, I would say always get about 2 to 3 quarts. A smaller size car, maybe a Nissan Sentra 1995 version. They're pretty small cars. I wouldn't say they're medium. They're probably about a small, medium, not medium to large size sedan. I would say 2 quarts of base will be plenty, because when you mix that with your reducer, which is always 50-50, you're going to have 1 gallon of sprayable material. You're probably going to go around the car 2 to 3 times, which you're probably going to use about a half a gallon of material or so, maybe a little bit more than a half a gallon. All right, so you're going to have some base coat left over. It's always better to have some left over. Trust me, you don't want to run short and start reducing your base coats down in the booth. It's just not a good feeling. Now, if you're doing a bigger, large size van or a full size truck, something like maybe F-250, Ford F-250 quad cab, huge truck with a camper on it, I would say pick up about a gallon of base coat, all right, because you're going to mix that down. It's going to give you 2 gallons of paint. If you're changing the color completely, you're going to be painting over primer. You want to make sure you have enough base coat, all right? So I would get a gallon. You're probably going to use over a gallon of paint for that thing, depending on how many coats you go over it. Usually 2 coats. Sometimes some guys like to go over a 3rd coat, but I usually like to go around 2 coats, see how it looks, and then if it needs a little bit more crisscrossing around the whole truck, then I'll do that. But basically, that's how much you need, okay? So a base coat, clear coat, always get 1 gallon of clear. like a kit size if you're doing a complete paint job. And for base, I would say 2 to 3 quarts of base coat, all right? If you're doing a basic paint job like that. And enamels, always get a 1 gallon kit. It'll probably always cover you for your average size medium paint job. If you're doing something big like a tank, maybe get a 1.5 gallons, all right, so you have extra. But you're only gonna go around the car probably 2 times with enamel. Enamel covers quick, and like nail polish, once you lay it on, the color's gonna be on there, pretty dark. All right, so enamels are easier to cover. Base coat, clear coat, it's gonna take you double the time to spray in the booth because you're going around with base 2-3 times, and you're gonna go around with clear 2-3 times. Enamels, usually 2 times you get a nice full coverage, nice 2 medium wet coats, you're good. Some guys like to go a 3rd cover on it with enamel, and then you could wait a couple of, let it dry, wait a couple of days, resand it maybe with some 1500 grit, and you could also shoot some polyurethane clear on top of that, but I don't know why you would want to do that. If you're looking to do something like that, just go with the base coat clear coat. But I've heard of guys doing enamel paint jobs with clears on them. Also, another trick that I've heard people doing, my father used also, was mixing some urethane clear coat with your final coat of enamel. So say you put 2 coats of enamel on your car, right, and you're saying, all right, I got enough coverage, it looks great. What I would do is the last coat mix 50-50. So I would maybe make maybe a quart and a half of your paint. I would have half of it clear coat. Mix up your urethane clear coat, mix it in with the color paint, mix it up and spray it. It'll give you a better gloss, and it does work. So you may want to check that on solid colors only. If you're doing metallics, I would recommend spraying a basic clear coat on top of that, all right? And you make sure not to run metallics with single stage, because if you do, even if you sand it out and try to buff it, you're always gonna see that drip mark in your metallic enamel paint, all right? So again, it's Tony. I hope you enjoyed this video. Like it, rate it. If you haven't gotten the 85-page auto body and paint manual, go to learnautobodyandpaint.com right now to go get that manual. It's full of tons of information on auto body and paint. I think you're gonna like it. Check it out, and I'll see you inside. Bye-bye.